Richard Pater, who's director of Bicom, the Britain-Israel Communications and Research Centre, joins me now. What is your understanding that these two MPs and their assistants wanted to do in Israel? Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on. So their full schedule is not clear, but the understanding that I have from the authorities here in Jerusalem is that they had assessed that given the background of these two MPs and their very harsh statements and the lies and innuendos that they come up with Israel, that this posed a threat to the security of the state of Israel, and they therefore made this very rare decision to bar them from entry.
Well, you're right. Ms. Mohamed has spoken of the assault on Gaza as ethnic cleansing, talked about a boycott of Israeli goods. Her parliamentary colleague is not far behind. So Israel only allows friends in then, Mr. Pater?
No, absolutely not. You know, there's Israel.
Why deport these people then?
I mean, just like the UK, Israel has I would say, a healthy bandwidth of critics. There are plenty of critics that come in, and in fact, there are numerous MPs, including from the Labour Party, that regularly come and visit, are engaged with. But I think one of the criteria is that people come with an open mind and that come to learn, especially when they're in positions of power and authority.
Goodness! How a border force at Ben Gurion Airport going to decide whether or not I've got an open mind?
No, I'm saying that would be my ideal criteria. Obviously, the border police have got even more bandwidth to let even people who are against the state. But when they are known as vocal and active critics, and they're not coming on a diplomatic mission, these are backbencher freshman MPs that have a very nasty political agenda. I think just like the UK, every country has the right to extend their sovereignty and to ban enemies of the state to come in.
Mr. Pater, I've known you for a number of years. You're a decent bloke. You've got to admit, this isn't a good look for Israel.
And I agree. It's definitely not a good look. It would be much preferable if this wasn't the case. But again, you have to appreciate the timing and the scenario that they're coming into. Israel is waging a multi-front war at the moment. Things are very tense. I don't know if these people. We've just finished the holy Islamic month of Ramadan, and tensions around Jerusalem are still very tense. There is fighting in the south. Israel is engaged in operations in the north, in Lebanon and Syria as well. And this is considered a particularly sensitive time. We're at a moment where the hostage deal is currently blocked, and it was considered, I think, by the authorities too much of a high-risk strategy to allow people that could destabilise the situation to come in.
Grateful for your time as ever, Mr. Pater. Thank you. Richard Pater, you're director of Bicom, the Britain-Israeli Communications and Research Centre, an independent body. Listening to that, Nicholas Westcott, who's Professor of Practice in Diplomacy at SOAS University of London and has served as a British diplomat. So perhaps I can put this question. Professor, how diplomatic have Israeli's actions appeared in your eyes? Good morning.
Good morning, Nick. Thank you. They are problematic because it is very rare for one country to exclude the parliamentarians of another. And there's rightly been a fuss about this. Israel, as you say, it claims to be a democracy, to have freedom of speech inside the country. There are some voices criticising the Israeli government's actions there, but it's unusual that they would exclude members of parliament who were coming to look at the situation in the West Bank. The Israelis say they were coming to spread hate speech. They say they were coming to do charity visits on a recognised parliamentary delegation. So there's a divergence of story there. But it increasingly looks as though Israel has something to hide. And the recent story about the apparent massacre of Red Crescent staff in the West Bank.
Yes.
Says that, yes, maybe there is something to hide. Maybe
this was the 15 Palestinian aid workers Israel now were mistakenly killed in southern Gaza. This was after the military initially said they approached without their lights on, but video footage has emerged now showing that they made a perfectly proper approach. Sorry to talk over you. It's just to fill my listeners in on the background there. A word, if you would, Professor, on Kemi Badenoch's stance here.
Leader of the opposition can say what she likes, but it implies she's more interested in protecting borders against people who have different views from her, which appears to be what the Israeli government is doing. I'm not sure that's a good selling point.
Great to speak with you as ever. Thank you for your time. Nicholas Westcott, Professor of Practice in Diplomacy at SOAS University of London and a former British diplomat himself. Well, other parliamentarians have come forward. Sir Ed Davey accusing the Tory leader of unbelievably poor judgment and others supporting them. Kemi Badenoch is right. Of course Israel has a right, but it is a shocking look for a country that is supposedly, that prides itself on being the only democracy in the area.